Hello and welcome to Good Morning Vibrations, a format of the digital TV channel of the German-speaking issue Forbes. My name is Andrea Gläsemann, I'm senior editor, and I'm happy to start the day with you. Under the theme, The Morning Makes the Day, Diversity Makes a Difference, in this format, I meet a lot of different personalities, talk with them about their career, what makes them successful, and what we can learn from them. So today, it's absolutely a pleasure to welcome Kamales Lardi as my guest today. With the company Lardi Partner Consulting, she has successfully implemented corporate strategies and IT strategies for Fortune 500 companies across Europe and Asia. And she's also founded the company Bloombloc, a Malaysian advisory and blockchain development company. So it's a pleasure to welcome you today, Kamales.
Good morning. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me as well.
So before we deep dive into the world of digitalization and technology, I would like to ask you if you have a certain morning routine, because there's the common opinion that successful people have one.
That is actually a great question. So as you know, I used to travel quite a lot before the COVID pandemic hit us. So it was quite tough to have a morning routine. But one of the good things that's come out of the kind of lockdown quarantine time is that I was able to develop a certain morning routine, which is, I have to say, it's been incredibly, I feel really good doing this over the last couple of months, because a night owl like me that works quite late most of the time, morning routine makes you feel really good to kind of wake up and start off the day. So my morning routine, to a certain extent, because I'm a mom, is driven by my daughter as well. She's 9, and she sets a certain pace for us. So now that school's open, I tend to send her to school. But I do tend to start off with a few morning affirmations or self-affirmations, which is kind of a 15-minute self-care routine that I have for myself. It's really kind of a meditation process where I listen to affirmations on my mobile phone, basically. And then I do, about a half hour, an hour while I'm having breakfast and coffee, I do my listening to the daily news. And there's a great app which I can recommend to the listeners. It's called Curio, and it has all of the daily news read out as audio news. So it's a great way to kind of have breakfast, start off my day, get myself up to speed on what's going on in the world, and it resets my mind. So the third thing that I really do, those are the first two things, and the third thing that I really do is set my schedule for the day. I have a weekly schedule, things that I need to get done for the week, and then every day I kind of review that schedule and make sure I identify a few things that I can do for the day to make myself feel productive, basically.
Sounds great. So when we first met at the EY Women in Industries event in last year in November, I guess, you told the audience that you are a digital optimist. And what do you mean by that term? And why did you decide to establish a company in the fields of technology and digitalization?
So this is a great question. I feel with technology, there's always a couple of misconceptions in the market. Companies tend to look at technology as a silver bullet solution, something that can be implemented and immediately solves the problems that the organization has. And other companies tend to look at it as kind of a cost center, an expense, investments that sometimes have returns and other times not. And so I feel like I'm a digital optimist and a business strategist, because I like to combine the elements of business and the capabilities of technology. I look at technology, particularly new technology or emerging technology, as enablers. They enable the business strategy and take us into a new way of working, a new way of engaging with customers, a new way of interacting with one another that we never had before. And I think what we have at the moment is an environment where, or at least till before the pandemic hit, we had an environment where technology was really already disrupting business quite a bit. We were in an environment where we had never seen the sort of technology breakthroughs that have been coming out. Each phase of new technology developed on the previous phase and accelerated development rapidly. And what we've seen over the last couple of months is massive acceleration that we've never seen before. So the appetite for technology adoption, the necessity to go into a more digital environment has never been so prominent. So I feel these create really strong opportunities for companies if they know how to make use of it. And this is why I say I'm a digital optimist. I look at technology as a way to help us engage better, help us communicate better, as a way for us to combine the physical and digital world to create something that's, I would say, superior to what we currently have or what we had before. And all of these elements really make me feel very positive about technology development. So this is why I'm an optimist around the topic. When I started my business 8 years ago, one of the choices I had was, where do I focus my opportunities, or where do I find new opportunities for business? What should I be doing? And when I left consulting, I've been in consulting for over 20 years now. And when I left consulting, the big consulting firms, I decided to look at a niche market area. And 8 years ago, we were just kind of in the uptake of social media in the corporate world. There was a lot of new developments coming out in the technology space. And I felt this was a great way for me to combine my background knowledge in technology and my experience in global business strategy to create new opportunities for the business, basically. So this is why I focused on that area.
So what would you say, why do so many companies fail to move their business into the digital age? Or better said, why is your service needed?
I think the service is needed simply because we look at technology from a new angle, in the sense that we don't look at it as a solution to be implemented, but we look at it as how do we optimize a business environment? How do we create new ways of doing business, new business models, and how can we utilize technology to accelerate that process? And so this is where we are slightly different in the sense that we don't look at just the technology implementations, and we don't look at just specific parts of the business, but we look at the kind of business strategy, top down, as well as the ground up opportunities that they have in organizations. So we really take a very strategic approach, and there are a couple of elements that make our approach quite different. We combine the external disruptors that are existing in the market. So not just technology disruptors like new technologies such as blockchain and in artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and so on. But we really look at behavioral disruptors as well, market disruptors, competitive landscape. And we combine that with an internal assessment of how mature an organization is in terms of digital, how much readiness they have for transformation, as well as looking at the kind of mindset of the leadership teams, as well as the skill sets of the employee base, and what kind of vision this organization should have over the next 1 to 3 years for digital. We combine these elements to create a digital transformation strategy and roadmap that helps an organization transition itself through the different phases of digital maturity. So these are kind of some of the elements that we utilize. I think a second element that's quite different about our company is we are, as I like to call, a modular consultancy, which basically means we have a very small core team, but we have an extended group of experts and specialists that we work with. So this could be freelancers, companies, technology firms, developers, a range of different types of models. But we combine, basically they plug in and out of projects whenever an organization needs support in a specific area. We have an expert that plugs in, delivers that, and then plugs out. So it keeps our structure very lean. It keeps the cost efficiency for clients very low as well, and or high cost efficiency basically. And we are also quite different in the sense that we have our own proprietary digital transformation methodologies and frameworks, which accelerates the process. So we're able to do a digital transformation strategy piece of work within 20 days, based on our expertise and experience across the globe as well.
So when having a look at the current pandemic, it really drives digitalization, and it also creates challenges for leaders and companies. So is your approach a key factor to be able to survive this crisis?
I think I would say yes, it would give companies a competitive advantage. Any kind of focus on digital at the moment is important, simply because we are in such a an environment or a business and global environment where we've never seen something like this before in modern times. So I do believe that this, adoption to digitalization or digital transformation is critically important at the moment. But what we're also seeing as we engage with different companies across the globe is that they are taking towards this knee-jerk reaction, making decisions and implementing technologies and implementing solutions that potentially may not be the best solution in the long term. So these kind of quick reactions to the current environment. And so what we're trying to do is help companies have this longer term focus while they make these rapid dynamic decisions. And that's incredibly critical at the moment. And one of the biggest barriers to this that we've seen is organizations or leadership teams that have a certain constraint in the mindset and the ability to make those quick decisions. So the traditional decision-making tools, the traditional ways that leadership teams have gotten used to over decades of making decisions and driving certain initiatives, those are not going to work in the current environment and the new normal that we're looking at as we come out of the pandemic. So we need to have a focus on the long-term strategy while making quick decisions as we move along. And I think this is going to basically help companies that are able to adopt to these. They're the ones that are going to stand out and they're going to continue to develop and grow even during this difficult time.
So you mentioned a certain mindset, or let's say the digital mindset. What is that?
I wouldn't say it's so much an understanding of just technology. A lot of people tend to think when you say digital mindset, it's a focus on understanding technology and having the affinity for in-depth technical knowledge. This is not necessarily true. So what I would say digital mindset is a growth mindset combined with a good understanding for disruptors in the market. So having a view of what is in the market, what's changing, how quickly things are developing, particularly around user behavior as well. If you look at the consumer landscape, the massive adoption of e-commerce over the last 2 months, the rate of adoption has never been seen before in modern times. So these sort of mindset changes that we're seeing or behavioral changes that we're seeing in the consumer base, for leadership teams to be able to understand these changes, what triggers those changes, what are the value propositions you can bring to market to leverage off of these changes. That for me is kind of a digital mindset. It's the openness to understand the environment, the openness towards change as well, and the ability to react quickly to that. And one critical element as well is, as a leader in an organization, you don't have to be the most knowledgeable in technology, but you should be able to lead people who know technology. And this is a very critical element. So to allow the ability for experimentation, exploration, and to encourage organizations to capture ideas, generate ideas from employee bases, for example, or to collaborate rather than compete. And so these are elements I would say that fall into the digital mindset category.
Thank you. Having a look at the time, I would like to ask you one last question, because we talked a lot about digitalization, technology in your first company, but you founded another one, Bloombloc, and I would like to know what is it exactly what Bloombloc does?
So Bloombloc was basically an outcome of a project that I worked on over the last 2 years. It basically is a blockchain advisory and development company. We started off by creating a project or developing a project for the Malaysian Palm Oil Council, and it's a blockchain-based system that is allows traceability of the palm oil fresh fruit branches right down from individual trees, which we never had before. So it allows traceability based on GPS location down to individual trees. So we know exactly where the palm oil comes from, and we are able to then avoid or completely potentially eliminate deforestation and the impacts it can have on the environment. And so we started that project as part of Lardi Partner. We developed a solution and we implemented a pilot for the Malaysian Palm Oil Council. So we have a pilot system available. And then it just really made sense for that to be taken into a separate organization. And it's located in Malaysia because we have a partner company there. And we're now looking at basically optimizing the solution for other supply chains as well. So this is basically where it is. It's one of the outcomes. We work a lot with technology solutions. We have solutions for virtual reality. We have solutions for AI systems and so on. And this project just became incredibly important because it has a huge global impact on the environment and the industry as well. So we took that into a separate organization, and we're trying to implement the solution across different markets as well. So this is kind of a sweet outcome for us, I would say.
Thanks, Kamales, for sharing your insights. It was really interesting. And I hope you guys out there had as much fun as I did. And now I would like to recommend you other formats we have. At 11, our publisher Heidi Eichinger will meet Sylvie Nicole. She's the Human Resources Executive Vice President at Henkel. And they will talk about new leadership. And at 4 p.m., sharing is the key, because my colleague Chloe Lau will meet Sebastian Stricker. He's the CEO of Share, and the company produces high quality products. And with every product you buy, you can help a person in need. And they will talk about if social businesses are the businesses for the future. So for now, thanks for taking the time, Kamales. It was absolutely a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you, Andrea.
And I wish you and all of you guys out there a really nice day. See you soon.